And that's why some of us don't want to have anything to do with them.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on. As the cost of tertiary education continues to rise, funding remains the major limitation for many Nigerians to pursue their academic dreams. A hope came for many Nigerians in form of the federal government's student loan scheme. Reports say in just 1 week, more than 60,000 students registered on the portal for the scheme. It is expected to be extended to students in state-owned universities. Ikeo, let me have you take the floor here.
Yeah, you see, perhaps this, I'm in fact convinced that this will go down as one of the best ideas that this president has come up with. It is a fact that people don't talk about the student loan scheme. They are always talking about the fact that we are hungry, being power and all that. But there are many people today who would not be who they are if Awolowo had not instituted free education. That some of us are comfortable does not mean that everybody is comfortable. Some students are forced to drop out of school because their parents can't pay. I know a person is today one of the most successful journalists in our country. Very, very comfortable as a journalist. He wanted to read law. He's a product of what's it called, polygamous family. His father used to rotate who will go to school each year between the children, born by his wives. So it's not like, okay, you are left secondary school, automatically you are going to institution of higher learning. No, it doesn't work with his father. No, it's rotated. It's rotated. You have to wait. Another person will go before they look in the direction of the other wife. So now when it got to his turn, he said he wanted to read law. And the man said, no, if you read law, you spend 5 years. I'm not interested in you reading law. If I mention his name, he's a very famous journalist. He said, no, you can't read law. You spend 5 years. No, I have no time for that. You read something else, and that's what you read must be course that you will terminate in 4 years. So people face all kinds of things. Some students have to do menial work just to be able to pay. I always talk about the governor of Borno State. He had to drive. He had to do kabu to be able to pay his school fees. And he graduated from University of Ibadan, at least for his first degree. He sponsored himself, driving kabu. There are many like that. Even Fayose drove kabu. Former governor of Ekiti drove kabu to pay his way through Ibadan Polytechnic. But we have something now that can help students who are indigent in nature. And Nigeria is not the only place where this has been instituted. In the US, it is a well-known thing that students are given loans to pay their way through school. What we have now, if it is properly implemented, if the political will is there, honestly, many years down the line, students will tell the story of how they were able to make their way through school thanks to this student loan thing. Because it will also help you to survive the harsh economic situation as well. It's not just to give you money to pay for school fees. You understand? So, yes, we are hungry. People will complain that tomato prices are very high, this and that. And food generally is a big concern to Nigerians. But this sort of project that the president has instituted and the consumer credit these are things that will help Nigerians. We may not see the result immediately, but with time, people will see that this is a very good initiative. As long as the government executes it according to plan, as long as it's not hijacked, I'm very confident. And the number will keep swelling. Because they talked about 6,000, I'm sure, and then 30,000 students, 60,000, and 30,000 students having successfully completed the process. It will keep going up. In fact, I was surprised, even for private universities, some of the students are saying no, they should allow them to partake. It's a good thing that students of state universities are now involved, because state universities are now many. It has become more like a political, what's it called, patronage, to cite a school in a particular location. Your representative will be asked, what did you do for us? In Oye now, where they have a federal university, there's no way they can forget Arise. It's part of what they brought to that place. Schools have a way of improving the economic well-being of a city where they are located. So it's a win-win situation, and I'm really happy that to hear that students' data have been submitted by the federal institution so that they can scrutinize who wants to benefit. I'm really excited about the student loan thing, and I pray that it succeeds. The famous lawyer, Awomolo, he's a beneficiary of a student loan when he was younger. He called me and said, Ajide, people don't know that this thing is what helps some of us to go to school. So in this generation, it's a good thing that they too benefit from some of the things that our fathers, our grandfathers benefited from.
Adeoye, numbers don't lie. And evidently Nigerians like and want this particular initiative.
Well, I think if you look at the number of people that applied in the first week, that visited the site,
9.5 million.
Yeah, it tells you that education is one of the most important aspirations of Nigerians. Going to that site, and it tells you that there are millions of people out there who are looking for this opportunity, who don't know any senator, who don't know any governor, but the only thing is that just to be able to access the internet, and then the opportunity is on their lap, on their lap. So I think this is one of the best policies we have seen since 1999, and I also think the number of people that applied shows that there is still some elements of trust in the people. That even though they distrust government, but for them to go there and say, okay, it was dismissed by, but students who went there and then they applied, and we are seeing the results. And I think that education is the greatest industry. Just like Mandela said, that education is the most powerful weapon that you need to change the world to a better place. An investment in education gives you the best interest. So some of these people that are applying for this, it's not only that they'll be useful to the society, they also be useful to themselves. So I think this is commendable. I'm also happy about the quick fix. It wasn't something that they set up committee and then for years we are not. It was one of the first things that the administration decided to do in the first 1 year, and it was able to achieve it. Because we had a lot of promises to start this and all, but eventually it has taken off. So I'm really happy about this, and I think it's also class neutral. It's not something designed for you must be sons of a minister. Once you can access the internet, you can, and I'm really impressed. And also come to think about it, we have about 79 private universities in Nigeria, and we have about 43 federal government-owned universities and 48 state-owned universities. But 90% of students are still going to federal universities. So it shows that this loan is targeted mostly at poor people who have no opportunity to, because most of the people you find in private schools are children of the elite. So I think this is a huge program that I'm really happy about the way it has started and the stage that we are now. I also feel that state governments should not wait for the federal government to carry this burden alone. If each state can take on 500 students from its own internal purse, 500 students per state, or even 1,000 students per state, giving students loan, learning from from what the federal government has done, it's going to make a whole lot of impact in terms of access to education, to millions of Nigerians. And it's going to make the society safer, because education is like, you are defeating ignorance. And you know that lack of education is partly responsible for violence, partly responsible for conflict, increases risk of health, and other sort of things. So if a lot of people are educated, we are building security
but when it comes to management
and
unemployment
and accountability, do you think governments have it all sorted?
Well, I think it should not be difficult to ensure transparency, in this kind of project, because first of all, the students are also involved. They are engaged. They fill the form, they put their data. So the prospect of manipulation, is not that much. But at the same time, it's our responsibility as journalists, civil society organizations to monitor the process and to ensure that the target audience are really people that actually need the funds.
All right, Bikio, your fear is a group of persons not hijacking this initiative. How do we ensure that does not happen?
I think one of the reasons it took so long for them to finally, for the president to finally sign this bill into law is because they were trying to put all the safeguards necessary. Remember, the bill was represented after complaints here and there. So now, a lot of the issues that people had with it have been sorted out. It looks like the law is close to perfection now, and they found a way to ensure sustainability, because that is necessary. The source of funding, they found a way to take care of that. So at this point, I have no fear at all. Students voice their concerns, and let us see what happens. The first 6 months of implementation of this, let's see what happens. Perhaps there may be a need to sort out some issues, but for now, I think they are good to go. And the man who heads the scheme has been granting interviews, telling Nigerians what they have done to ensure that this cannot be hijacked. And I want to give them that benefit of the doubt, but let us see what happens in the coming months.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on quickly.